All right, let's get this show on the road. It has been too long, and we say that every time, don't we? But that is... Actually, the wait wasn't that long. It was not a long wait, especially with the help of that London tournament that I'm sure everybody here watched. And it totally wasn't corny as hell, but we're here. We're gonna wait a couple minutes as we get ready for the Kyushu Basho, and as I label all of the bullseyes and not bullseyes that I got. Wow, I messed up the bottom of the Banzuke really badly, didn't I? Like, geez, I got a lot of things wrong. Got a couple things right, though. But a lot of things wrong. That's the fun of it, isn't it, though? Like, sure, 5. Yoshino Fuji. Oshoma. Uda. Tamawashi fell a bit further than I thought he would. Motoharu, Kirishima, Takakage. Hakuoho, I called him getting snubbed. Takanosho back at the top where he belongs, which is very debatable. Let's see, then Hirado Umi. Let's see who I got half on. But welcome, everybody. Again, I'll give it another minute or two to let people in. I know a lot of people have been hoping for this. Who did I pick for Kachi? We're going to get there. We're going to do Kachi Clash in just a little bit. First, we're going to go over my Guess the Banzuke and why I always seem to do absolutely horrifically bad on these things. So let's see. I got nobody near the bottom. Holy cow. Myogiryu 13s I got completely wrong. Myogiryu 12s I got completely wrong. Shishi I got just a little bit off. Okie dokie. Myogiryu 8 I got wrong. I got so many things wrong. Holy cow. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 incorrect guesses. Alright, let me close the door. Let me get out. Oh. Oh. Gideon's been a bit cranky this week because of the daylight savings. I've been a bit cranky because I'm terrible at Guess the Banzuke. You see up here, you know, this guy almost had a completely good score, 34 bullseyes. I never do that well. You know me. I never do that well. I got 240th place out of 335 people. I don't know why. I'm just bad at guessing Banzuke. 6 and 9 this time around. I got what? 47 points, which, I mean, that's not terrible, but I only got what, 25 bullseyes, 25 correct guesses. And most of it was what everybody got correctly. Onosato, Hoshoryu, Kotozakura, Aonishiki, Oho. I did call Haku Oho getting snubbed. Takanosho, Takeyasu staying up there. I got everything down to Myogiryu 2 correct. Correct? What is this accent? Correct. Just finished cooking chicken potato curry with jasmine rice. That sounds delicious. I didn't have curry today. I just had some rice. I got Hirado Umi correct. I did say Myogiryu 3 coin flip because I thought Tamawashi would fall there, but actually Uda pushes up and Tamawashi falls below them. I didn't even consider that. So if I put Tamawashi below Uda, I would have had all of those extra points. Kusano changed his name to Yoshino Fuji, so that's going to be a fun name to say. Across from Shodai, I got that correct. And a lot of things incorrect. I thought Onokatsu would stay in the same spot. He moved down half of a rank to make room for Atami Fuji. Churano Umi was still a half of a rank below Onokatsu, but because he was down at Maegashira 7, I didn't get any points for that. So Atami Fuji moved them over and down. Abi, I got correct though. Ichi Yamamoto and Tobizaru, or rather, Ichi Yamamoto at Maegashira 8, I expected Tobizaru to move up to Maegashira 8, but Ichi Yamamoto with that 4 and 11 from Maegashira 5 really got saved. Like, does he really deserve that? Thank you, Scandalous Murph, for your Prime subscription.
Have some before I actually go.
Okay.
I will.
Thank you. I have some pizza. Oh, and it's tearing apart. It's stuck to the foil. There we go. You don't gotta kick funds my way. Just being here and watching the ads. You don't have to watch the ads. You can skip them. That gets me enough funds. Don't worry. But I appreciate the sentiment. Thank you. Let me just have one more bite of pizza. Almost.
Don't want to?
I had a few bites.
Oh, I'll show you. You did.
I take big bites. I'll be San Antonio for Frank Turner concert. I don't know who that is, but that sounds cool. Have a good time. San Antonio is a very wide city. There's a lot to do, and it's all 30 minutes away. So, anyway, I thought Tobizaru was going to go up above Kinbolzan, which Kinbolzan, Midori Fuji, and Daieisho all stayed in the same spot. But Tobizaru, Kotoshoho, Ichi Yamamoto fell in spots that I didn't think they would fall. Same with Shishi. Then I got Roga right. I didn't get... And then they moved down Mitakayumi and Toki Hayate, which is strange because a lot of those other guys at 7 and 8, they didn't move. They didn't move a lot of those guys at 7 and 8, but they did move Tomokaze... Or they did move Mitakayumi and Toki Hayate down one rank. They did move down Shonan no Umi. They did bump down Hitoshi, which we did predict they would bump down Hitoshi. And we got Meisei at the very bottom there. Thank you, Diathon Titan, for your Prime subscription. And I basically just got the entire bottom of the Banzuke wrong. I think even calling Nishiki Fuji where he was a lucky guess. But we got who would be pushed up correct, just not where they were going to be, which I'm really bad at predicting the Banzuke. You know how that goes. So I got a bottom 100 again. There I am, 240 out of 340 almost, which it's really cool to see how many people are playing this game. Because you can see it went through a bit of an era. Like, this is, what, 10 years ago? It kind of peaked and then dwindled, and now it's really going up. So after the tournament, be sure to play Guess the Banzuke. It's a lot of fun, and even if you don't get anything correct, it's still fun to try. So moving on, there is a lot of news. None of it earth-shattering, but there is a lot of news that I did want to cover. So first things first, Takarafuji retired at the start of October. Takarafuji, longtime veteran. We kind of knew that it was going to be coming because he was on the older side. He fell out of judo. And, I mean, 38 years old, great career, nothing to shake a stick at. And I'll just read this verbatim. At the start of the new month, Japan Sumo Association announced the retirement of Takarafuji of Isagahama-beya, who will now take the name Kiriyama and dedicate himself to training the next generation from the stable. The decision came after his 5 and 10 record from the Kyushu Basho at Judo 12. He did not want to lose Sekitori rank that he had held for 15 years since the autumn 2010 tournament. The former Sekiwake's last official win on the dohyo was over Makushita 1 Kitanawaka, his 7th most used Kimarite. A career spanning 99 basho, he rose from Maizumo to the rank of Sekiwake, which he held for only one tournament. Went 4-11 at that tournament, which was Goeido's only win in September 2016. Winning a Sandanme Yusho and collecting 3 gold stars against Yokozuna Kakuryu, Hakuho, and Kisano Sato. The only special award for extraordinary performance dates back to July 2016, when he was promoted from Maegashira 2 to Sekiwake, alongside Takeyasu. Another notable aspect of his long and distinguished career is his consistency. He hadn't missed a single tournament since his debut in 2009. His record for consecutive appearances is 1398, the 6th highest in history. After the final bout of the 2025 Aki Basho, he said, "It's hard to believe it's been 15 years, but there's nothing you can do about it." So it's kind of interesting to see how this guy has been around for so long. He was one of the mainstays of the top division. He was a strong, stalwart. You know, he was up and down that top division. He even dipped back down into judo a few times. Thank you, Kool-Aider, for your Prime subscription. And it's hard to believe that he only had like 1 special prize. He only had 3 kinboshi. So that kind of goes to show, although he was never outstanding, he was still very solid and someone to be feared in his own right. It's probably going to be unfortunate that someone of his caliber is going to be lost to time, a footnote in the history of sumo, thanks to his consecutive matches. But, you know, for those of us that have watched, I mean, I've only been watching for like 6 years, but in those 6 years, I always liked Takarafuji. He was always very impressive, and I really loved his slow, methodical, defensive Yotsuzumo style, which he just kind of got outpaced, he got outmatched, and, you know, that kind of thing happens when you get a little bit older and older. After that, another piece of news was Takakeisho's retirement ceremony, which his Danpatsushiki, his hair-cutting ceremony, happened earlier in October as well, which kind of goes to show that they are indeed catching up on those ceremonies, and probably Endo's ceremony is going to be sooner rather than later. They are still, because of COVID, the backlog got pushed up, and because they've been kind of accelerating through them, there haven't been very many other high-profile retirements. They've been able to get through them. But let's see. Retired after 2024 autumn, so had to wait a year for it. Haircutting ceremony was held in the afternoon after the judo bouts and other events. Approximately 300 people cut the mage, including composer Shunichi Tokura, who served on the Yokozuna Deliberation Council, and Tokyo Governor Yuriko Koike. The venue was packed to capacity with a crowd whose tickets had sold out in advance. That's interesting. That's cool. After just over 11 years since his debut, Minatagawa Oyakata said goodbye to his top knot when his stable master, Tokiwayama Oyakata, former Komusubi Takamisugi, performed the final cut. His master, when he first joined sumo, the former Yokozuna and former Takanohana Oyakata, Koji Hanada, did not attend. Interesting. He did not shed tears throughout the ceremony. His new haircut, according to the barber, is a 2-block side part with the sides aggressively shaved. It was met with universal praise. And that is a handsome gentleman right there. He looks like he's going to be the bad guy in a drama TV series or something. He said he felt refreshed, linking the physical act of having his short hair with his current state of mind. I was proud of the Chonmage. It was the symbol of a sumo wrestler. I'd come to terms with it in my heart, but with his appearance, I feel like it is completely over now. He began sumo at the age of 9 with a closely cropped head and said it was his first haircut in about 20 years. He stepped onto the dohyo and was met with thunderous ovation. I want to learn from the younger wrestlers and my seniors and do my best. He made his debut in 2014 autumn from the Takanohana stable in his 3rd year at Saitama Sakai High School. Held the Ozeki rank for 30 tournaments and won Makuchi 4 times. His retirement at the age of 28 years and 1 month made him the second youngest wrestler whose highest rank was Ozeki to retire in the Showa era or later. So basically in the modern era of sumo. And he will always kind of be a question mark as an Ozeki. For those that haven't been watching for a long time, he was plagued with neck injuries because, you know, you could see he was very large, and his sumo style was charging head first, literally head first into his opponent, which over time that caused a lot of neck injuries. And eventually, again, he is so young. He's literally the same age as my wife. They were born on the same day, just Japanese time compared to American time. And, you know, I can't imagine someone that young retiring from, you know, their sport, you know. And it was because of those neck injuries. It was because of his style. And a couple of times in his history, he did have a shot at Yokozuna. But in those few times, you know, that neck injury would flare up because he went 110% to get that Yusho as Ozeki, and then he just couldn't finish it out. And it's unfortunate because he was so young, he was so strong, he has 4 Yusho under his belt, and it would have been nice to see him as a Yokozuna, but the criticism against him was his style was too one-dimensional, and that's why they were hesitant to promote him to Yokozuna, because the idea is a Yokozuna is so overwhelmingly strong and or so good at all styles of sumo that he will be able to be, you know, someone to beat, the Yokozuna to be proud of. And because he was so one-dimensional in his style and so inconsistent because of the neck injuries, it never came to fruition, and it is a shame, but I hope that as a stable master, he will have a long and successful career. He's going to have a long time ahead of him to raise up that next generation. And I can already envision, you know, within the next couple of years, we'll see, oh, look, it's Takakeisho sitting on the side of the ring. He's one of the guys. Oh, look, it's Takakeisho, like 10, 15 years from now, and he's got his Yokozuna training underneath him, which that's a high bar, but, you know, it could happen. Then Myogiryu also had his haircutting ceremony. Former Sekiwake Myogiryu, now Furiwake Oyakata, bid farewell to his top knot on the 5th. His retirement ceremony and succession to the Furiwake elder name was held at Ryogoku Kokugikan in Tokyo. 400 people snipped his hair, and the Oichomage was finally cut off by ceremonial last snip from his stablemaster Sakaigawa Oyakata, former Komusubi Ryogoku. He confessed to having complex feelings, saying, "My top knot is finally gone, and it's a mix of happy and sad." He didn't shed a tear until the end, but spoke wistfully. "It really got to me when my stablemaster patted me on the shoulder at the end. I didn't cry, but I was deeply moved." Which is kind of surprising, too, because I remember this specifically. It was Myogiryu versus Kakuryu. I believe it was his collegiate coach had just recently passed away. And in the match against Kakuryu, I can actually go back and look for this. Let's look for the sumo database real quick. Because again, I remember it specifically being... I keep hitting the same button. I remember it specifically being Myogiryu versus Kakuryu. So let me... shoot, how do I even look for that? I believe it was 2019. Let's see. No, that was against Tomokaze. Pardon me for a moment. Where is it? Here it is. So it was 2019. The Natsu Basho 2019, which, the May tournament. Myogiryu, I believe it was that tournament, he said that his collegiate coach had passed away. And in that match against the Yokozuna, against Yokozuna Kakuryu, in which Myogiryu defeated Kakuryu, he stated that he could feel the presence of his stable master help guide him to victory in that match, which I think is incredibly touching. And you could even see after the match was done, he had like the single manly tear rolling down his cheek. You know, a very emotional moment for a sumo wrestler to defeat a Yokozuna like that. During the ceremony, he said, "It wasn't quite a flashback of my life, but all kinds of memories were swirling through my head because everyone who was there was someone I knew, memories which each person came flooding back." He said the moment of the ceremonial last snip was particularly impactful. There was a strand or two of hair that hadn't been cut, and the moment my stable master cut them, I felt my head get lighter. He reflected on that moment of release from the pressure of being a sumo wrestler and all the tension that came with it. He only told the barber short for his new hairstyle and left the rest up to him. And that's a handsome look for him and his whole family, the 3 kids. That's adorable. It's been a year since he submitted his retirement notice after last year's autumn tournament. He is already instructing junior wrestlers as a stable elder at Sakaigawa Stable. When asked about his philosophy as a coach, he strongly emphasized being kind alone isn't enough. If you're soft on yourself, you won't get results. It's a tough world. I believe that if we can produce wrestlers who are true to the sport and won't be defeated by themselves, the fans will naturally support them. He revealed his determination to uphold the tradition of the Sakaigawa Stable, which is known for its intense training and is where he himself grew as a Rikishi. So Myogiryu, another longtime veteran. For those that haven't been or are more recent to watching sumo, you would probably think he wasn't very impressive, but even in, again, the last few years of his career, when he was between the top division and the Judo division, you know, he was, in a similar sense to Takarafuji, that strong, stalwart sumo wrestler. He wasn't as consistent as Takarafuji, but he was equally strong. And again, it is unfortunate that the older gentlemen eventually retire and go and become coaches, but I will always remember that one moment, Myogiryu versus Kakuryu. I'd pull up a highlight, but I didn't see one on the sumo database. And in the news, Estonian teen joins Hidenoyama Bea. It was announced on the 6th that an aspiring sumo wrestler from Estonia has joined Hidenoyama Stable. Zarodos Noi Anatoli. I know I pronounced that wrong, but don't roast me for it, has been living at the stable since August and is aiming for his first dohyo appearance sometime next year. If realized, he would become only the 3rd sumo wrestler from the country, following former Ozeki Baruto. Anatoly has experience in wrestling and judo and began practicing sumo at age 12. He is 180 centimeters tall, so what is that, 6'2", and weighs 124 kilograms, which I don't know what that is in pounds, and has participated in the World Junior Championships. He joined the stable through an introduction by Kaido, I'm not going to attempt to pronounce that, the former Baruto, and stated in professional sumo, the rituals like the dohyoiri are beautiful and Japanese culture is wonderful. My favorite wrestlers are Hoshoryu and Aonishiki. He's currently focused on basic exercise, such as the shiko and suriashi. His stablemaster, Hidenoyama, former Koto Shogiku, smiled and praised him, saying he is a serious type who works hard and steadily. His personality is patient. So, another guy to look forward to as we will see his rise sometime starting next year. And he looks like a guy you'd want to root for. That's like 260 pounds. Got it. Thank you. And then finally, and this was kind of surprising news, wasn't kind of surprising news, Komusubi Endo retiring at 35. He did have that knee surgery. He was falling out of judo, and it was on the podcast with Lord Stanley, now known as Sanyaku Brothers, which we recorded. I don't remember if he posted it, but if you want to look for Sanyaku Brothers on YouTube, I'm sure it'll be up at some point. But he asked, one of his questions was, who do you think is going to retire next? And I think I said Endo, and lo and behold, he retired like the next day before he even posted the video. So Endo takes on Kitajin Oyakata. It was learned on the 27th from sources that professional sumo wrestler and former Komusubi Endo from Oitakaze stable has decided to retire. He is scheduled to assume the elder name Kitajin and will be involved in coaching younger wrestlers. Endo, who suffered from chronic pain in both knees, decided to undergo surgery in July and September, forced to miss the entire Nagoya and autumn tournaments. The Banzuke announced today for the Kyushu tournament saw him lose his Sekitori status, which he had held since 2013 Nagoya. So 12 years. And fall to East Makushita 3. Thank you, Mississippi Cajun, for your subscription. He debuted with the Makushita 10 rank eligibility, Makushita Tsukedashi, and his rapid ascent, reaching the top division in 3 tournaments, while still with his hair unshaved, became a hot topic, which was only been matched by Haku Oho recently, and probably will only ever be matched by Haku Oho unless the Sumo Association changes the rules again so that there can be a Makushita 10 or 15 Tsukedashi. That's not written down, that's my addition. In addition to his good looks, which that's whenever anyone asks who's the most handsome, we would say Endo because he was most popular and apparently the most handsome, but I can't say I have a really good gauge on what Japanese people find handsome. Thank you, Kokoichi fan, for your Prime subscription. Endo, born in 1990, Anamizu Town, Ishikawa Prefecture, is 35. He graduated from Kanazawa Gakuin Higashi High School and Ishikawa, and then Nihon University. In his 4th year of university, he won the All Japan Championship and the National Sports Festival Adult A Division, earning the qualification for the Makushita 10 start. He joined the Oitakaze stable and made his professional debut in 2013 spring. He passed through Judio in just 1 tournament, achieving his promotion to the top division in the autumn tournament of the same year. 3 tournaments after debut from Makushita Tsukedashi. He competed in the Makuchi division for 69 tournaments, nice, with his highest rank being Komusubi. His career record is 527 wins, 494 losses, and 88 absences. He has 1 outstanding performance, 1 fighting spirit, and 4 technique prizes. That's interesting, because technique prizes are notoriously the hardest one to get, so to have the most technique prizes is pretty cool. He also earned 7 gold stars, and 1 I remember. Well, actually, did he have was Terunofuji a Yokozuna at that point? Let me see. Because it was Terunofuji versus Endo. Let me see. It was, I want to say, where is it? Because Endo in that tournament, he went something like 11-4. He went crazy. And one of those wins was against Terunofuji. Let me see. 12-3 from Judio. Nah, it's too late. Sorry, I'm looking this up on the other screen. No, that's not it either. He did have an 11-4 in 2021. There's that was before Terunofuji rose back up through the top division. I don't know if I'll be able to find this match I'm looking for, but it was Endo versus Terunofuji. Endo had performed a really great throw at the edge and like head planted on the top of his head as they both went flying out of the ring. A very memorable match from Endo, which I wish I knew more memorable matches from him earlier on, but let's see. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to find this match unless I do bouts by opponents. Terunofuji. There it is. 2021 May, day 14. Let's see if they have that highlight. That was the last time Endo defeated him. Yeah, that was Maegashira 8 Endo, improving to 11-3 over Ozeki Terunofuji at that point. And that tournament was a Takakeisho Terunofuji playoff that would see Terunofuji take the win. So really making things dramatic on those final days all the way back in 2021. I thought that was a lot more recent. And I'm a little bit surprised that it's not, it doesn't have an archive. But that is, again, one of the more memorable matches that I do remember from Endo. And, well, now if someone asks who's the most handsome man in sumo, we don't know what to answer because he's retired. He's not a sumo wrestler anymore. And that does bring us to what everybody is asking for. What is my picks for Kachi Clash? And Kachi Clash, you know, I feel like I always got to be different just to be different. But at the same time, I want to be different because it's more fun that way. I'm having a drink. It's vodka and not orange juice, but it's like an orange like Tang, off-brand Tang. But let's see, who do we got here? At the very top, Onosato, Hoshoryu, and Kotozakura. Which, yeah, let me do this and then squish this to the side. Oh no, I'm gonna spoil upcoming content, Christmas music from Leo Dickinson. Not that anybody cares. But we have Onosato, Hoshoryu, Kotozakura. Now, of course, recently you would think choosing either of the two Yokozuna is probably gonna be your best bet, right? I mean, last tournament was fantastic. The London tournament saw Hoshoryu win, even though the London tournament was a little bit of a joke. But, I don't think anyone's considering Kotozakura. And to be fair, Kotozakura has nothing to be considered for lately, especially. He finally broke the curse. He won on day one at the last tournament, but then bowed out near the end due to a last-second injury. And, I mean, I'll be honest, Kotozakura is still my favorite of the three. I like Kotozakura a lot, and I'm going to pick him. But if you want to win Kachi Clash, you don't pick Kotozakura. There's really nothing here. Unless, for whatever reason, he only performs in Kyushu. Like, look at his last year, 14-1, Kyushu Basho. The year before that, 11-4 Jun Yusho from Sekiwake at the Kyushu Basho. The year before that, 9-6 from a new career high rank of Myogiryu 1. That's pretty good. And then, you know, maybe going a little too far back with that 6-9 from Myogiryu 11. But, you know, if this starts some kind of weird trend where he only performs during the Kyushu Basho, maybe that'll be a nice bet. But that's not really something to bet on. Now, again, between the two Yokozuna, if you're impartial to both, there's a clear correct answer here. And I believe it is Onosato. Onosato is much more likely to get you the Yusho. Just look at his past year. He has the most wins of the year and has clinched the most wins of the year. He doesn't even need to compete in this tournament, but he already has the most wins of the year. He's going to get more wins. He's going to have 70 plus wins by the end of this tournament, and that is going to be a lot of fun to watch. But there really isn't a question of his health either, because his sumo is so strong and so solid and so fast that, like, it doesn't really seem like it's Endo-esque in that his sumo is safe, but he's also so strong that he doesn't need to take risks. So there's no risk, like almost no risk of him getting hurt or injured in this tournament compared to Hoshoryu, a much more technical wrestler, a much more agile wrestler, and someone that needs to use the speed and agility in order to win. Is he going to slip and break a toe? Is he going to fall to another leg pick from Aonishiki and that'll dislocate a knee or something? Or is he going to do what he did at last tournament and what he did in May, where he was here, he was performing at his top level, which, I mean, if they're both at their top level, flip a coin between Onosato and Hoshoryu. But that one little twinge of, will Hoshoryu break a thumb? Will he break a toe? Will he be at 100% the entire way through? That's what gives Onosato the edge. So if you want to win Kachi Clash, 100% pick Onosato. Otherwise, just pick your favorite. I mean, that's really always going to be the last answer, is pick your favorite. But, Hoshoryu does most of the time beat Onosato in the 1v1, so if it comes down to it, he'll probably edge him out if he has a good tournament. Kotozakura is likely not going to have as good of a tournament as the two Yokozuna, but a Kotozakura fan should hope. A Kotozakura fan can hope. And that's what I'm going to do. Now this next section is also very difficult because I want to pick Aonishiki. But Takakeisho is here too, and if I don't pick Takakeisho, my wife is going to go get the gun. So this one is pretty clear on who you want to pick. Aonishiki has been so amazing, so strong, so consistent. Look at this, 11-4, 11-4, 11-4, 11-4. What, is he going to get another 11-4? I mean, come on. What's the worst he's going to do, 10-5? The thing about Aonishiki, though, is that they are not counting the July tournament for possible Ozeki promotion. And that sucks. But it's okay. Because he's going to go 11-4 and then 11-4 in January anyway. Let's be real. But seriously, though, Aonishiki, he is young, and his wins have not been a fluke. At this point, we can easily say he is young, he is strong, he is consistent. And I do agree with the Sumo Association. I think holding off for one more tournament to see if we can promote him to Ozeki is a good idea. Because it will really show the consistency that an Ozeki needs. Which, 11-4, yeah, sure, 10 wins is the Yokozuna winning record, the Yokozuna Kachi Koshi. But you are right, I think, Poetic Wine. If he somehow wins the Basho, they might change their mind. Whether it's like a 13-2 playoff with a Yokozuna, 12-3 playoff with a couple of Yokozuna. Maybe if he wins the tournament, they'll change their mind. But then that brings up the question, does he have a shot to win the tournament? And I don't think so. Not yet. He is young, he is strong, he is smart, he is fast. But he's just not there yet. He is obviously performing Ozeki level sumo. I will say that. And again, I think it's okay to wait on an Aonishiki promotion, because I think he's going to get it anyway. But if he somehow wins this tournament, like if he goes 15-0, just out of the blue 15-0, which isn't too out of the blue because he's been going 11-4 every single tournament in the top division, then maybe they'll give it to him. And even if they still don't, I think that's okay. I think it's going to be okay. He's still, like, he has a long career ahead of him, let's be real. He is going to be fine if he doesn't get Ozeki tomorrow. Like, come on. And he's the obvious choice for this section. Like, Takayasu, we love him, but he is on the older end. He is battered and bruised and surviving. Like, sure, he could go 10-5. He's equally likely to go 6-9 or 12-3. You don't know what you're going to get with Takayasu. He's too inconsistent at this point. For Oho, he is kind of a foil to Aonishiki in that he is young. He's a little bit older than Aonishiki. He is strong, but he's not as strong as Aonishiki. He is not as consistent as Aonishiki. So why are you going to pick Oho over Aonishiki? If he's your favorite, yeah, sure, but let's not play favorites. There's no reason to pick Oho over Aonishiki, I don't think. He did have that 12-3 earlier this year, but that's looking more and more like a flash in the pan and not what Oho is going to be consistently capable of. Now, 10-5 for Myogiryu 2 at the previous tournament is fantastic. Before that, he had 2 Kinboshi in 2 7-8 tournaments. So it's like, well, are you good? Are you not good? But losing to both Sekiwake, who had losing records at the end of it, losing to both Yokozuna, which that's very forgivable. You're losing to the number 1 and number 2 guy on the Banzuke. You can forgive that. And losing to Wakamoto Haru, who he massively struggles against in the 1v1. Those are 3 forgivable losses. The 2 Sekiwake, struggles against Wakataka Kage too, so a 4th forgivable loss. The one against Kirishima, that's winnable. That's winnable, though. But then he did get a couple of upsets. He upset Kotozakura. He upset Ryuden, which, I mean, he was a Maegashira 2 fighting a Maegashira 17. That's not really an upset, but in the head-to-head it kind of is. And then he did upset Takayasu, who did struggle at the last tournament, started 0-3. So, Oho, I want to see him get there. I want to see him be a consistent threat from Sekiwake, from Komusubi, from maybe Ozeki, but I just don't think he has it. Not like Aonishiki does. And then, of course, Takanosho. Takanosho is an enigma. He will be celebrating his 31st birthday during the tournament, so that's going to be cool. Will he be able to get a win on that 31st birthday? Let's see. That's going to be next Friday. So day 6? Day 6 of the tournament. And I like him. My wife loves him. We love him. But he's kind of outclassed at Sekiwake, at Komusubi at this point. Sure, if we go way back 5 years to when he was Sekiwake, and he could just never really string it together, like, he was there, he was solid, but he didn't have it. And then he is too good for the lower ranks sometimes. Like, you can see 11-4 Jun Yusho from Maegashira 4, 8-7 from Maegashira 10. It's the inconsistency, it's the poor footwork that has been improved on. You can see the past couple of tournaments, 8-7, 9-6, 12-3. But I think the 12-3 is more because he was fighting much weaker opponents, and there was really no need to put him against stronger opponents until the end. Which, like, in the last couple of days, beating Kotozakura is a good feat. Beating Kirishima and Wakataka Kage while they were slumping is also a good feat, taking advantage of them while they're weak. He already has a great head-to-head against Kirishima. Losing to Aonishiki, a forgivable loss. Losing to Midori-Fuji, who finished 7-8, he struggles with that head-to-head, debatably forgivable. And he didn't really have any massive upsets. Like, he beat Shodai, split series. He beat Koto Shoho, almost a split series. So, you could argue Takanosho's opponents were not the biggest challenge that could have been posed to him. Now, from here, I think it's either, like, even looking at it historically, 4-11 from Maegashira 1, 6-9 from Maegashira 1, 3-12 from Maegashira 3, and he's going to be fighting mostly the same guys. It's not looking good for Takanosho. But I'm going to pick him anyway, because if I don't, my wife will be mad at me. So I hope that answers your question, Carmzilla. That's why I'm picking Takanosho. Now, in this next section, a lot of good, a lot of fun, a lot of interesting picks. For those of you wondering who the hell Yoshino Fuji is, that's Kusano. Let me have a sip. Oho's gonna beat both Yokozuna and lose to everyone else, right? Totally possible. And thank you, Walter, for your Judio membership. So, Maegashira 1 through 5, there are a lot of great picks here. Haku Oho is slowly but steadily moving up. Wakataka Kage, Kirishima, Wakamoto Haru, all former Sekiwake that have shown splashes of Ozeki level sumo, but just aren't consistent enough to stay there. Hirado Umi, former Komusubi, I don't think he's as strong of a candidate as the former Sekiwake in general. Uda, fan favorite, always kind of struggles near these top ranks. Maybe another good tournament for him can get him back to Komusubi, but I don't think he's going to have that good tournament here. Tamawashi, I love to pick Tamawashi. Tamawashi is fun. He's entertaining. but he is also not as consistent as he used to be. Oshoma, I think, is kind of a question mark here, because Oshoma, 3-12 from Komusubi, 9-6 from Maegashira 7. I think he's going to occupy that Onosho-esque spot now, where he's clearly too good for even like Maegashira 5 and 6, but he's just not strong enough for the best of the best. I think Uda's going to shine or die this Basho. Yeah, I agree with that. So here, Oshoma, it depends on the schedule, which we do have the schedule, the Torikumi. So let's see, who is he fighting in the first few days? Maegashira 4, Oshoma versus Yoshino Fuji. And then after that, Oshoma versus Ura. If Oshoma only fights down, he'll have a great tournament. If he has to go through the gauntlet, he'll have a bad tournament, which Onosato has to fight Hoshoryu, Kotozakura, Aonishiki, Oho, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Uh-oh, Oshoma, you're probably going to have to go through the gauntlet. I'm not going to pick Oshoma. I think he's going to struggle against the gauntlet here. Yoshino Fuji, we were just counting it out. Onosato, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yoshino Fuji, I think you're going to have to fight the gauntlet, and that's going to be really tough. And I don't know why I closed the Torikumi, but Yoshino Fuji, you're fighting Oshoma day 1, and then Tamawashi day 2, but this is the kiss of death. Maegashira 5, you're going to be fighting up probably later in this first week, maybe even early second week. So he needs to stack wins. Oshoma and Yoshino Fuji need to stack wins before they fight the top dogs, before they fight the best of the best. So, like, if these guys start 2-0, it'll be interesting to see. If they don't, they're probably going to struggle. And then Shodai. I'm not picking Shodai, I just have him highlighted for a second. But Shodai. You love him. You love to hate him. You hate him. You love him. He's Shodai. Former Ozeki. Yusho winner at least one time. A couple of Jun Yusho under his belt. 3 Jun Yusho to be exact. Lord of Chaos. He's been palling around in those lower Maegashira divisions. But wait. Is that new season of Jujutsu Kaisen still airing? Is there more Jujutsu Kaisen content out? Someone tell me, because I honestly don't know. Is that the make or break for Shodai? Even if that funny joke isn't true, Shodai, I think, is just barely outside the range of needing to go through that gauntlet. So he's going to, in a perfect world, nobody gets injured, that kind of thing, he is going to exclusively be fighting down, which there are a lot of winnable matches there. Atami Fuji, Onokatsu, Abi, Churano Umi, Ichiyamamoto, Midori Fuji. Like, there are so many winnable matches for Shodai in the future. We can even see who is he fighting. Day 1. We have Shodai Atami Fuji. Day 2, Shodai Onokatsu. The 2, Maegashira 6. If he's fighting down, he could honestly have a really good tournament here. And again, if we just count it out, Onosato has to fight 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And he might not even fight Yoshino Fuji, because, you know, Daieisho could be 10-0 at some point and he'll fight Onosato, you know? So someone like Yoshino Fuji, someone like Shodai could luck out, not go through the Sanyaku gauntlet, come away with 10 wins, you know? That's a good opportunity for both of these men at Maegashira 5. Better one for Shodai, who has the experience, has the power of God and anime behind him. But that's still a big question mark. By wild take, Uda will get double-digit wins after capturing the minds and hearts of Londoners a few weeks ago. They'll send him some cheesy potatoes and fish and chips in the mails. if you're asking me who the best possible pick would be here, I think the answer is either Kirishima or Wakataka Kage, because they are usually very sound and very stable in those top ranks. But the previous tournament, I feel like they might have crumbled under the pressure of possibly making Ozeki. Like, there was, hey, you might make Ozeki this tournament if you keep doing the same thing you've been doing. And it's like, oh god. Oh no. That's a lot of pressure. And then they just cracked. But now, no pressure. Myogiryu 1, Myogiryu 2, sure. They're going to be fighting the gauntlet. Myogiryu 1, day 1, let's see that. We have Wakataka Kage, Kotozakura. That's a split match. Wakataka Kage could win that. Aonishiki, Kirishima. Okay, Aonishiki, I think he has that one. But then Kirishima, Kotozakura, that's heavily in favor of Kirishima. Wakataka Kage, Oho, heavily in favor of Wakataka Kage. Wakataka might be your best bet here. But at the same time, then you have Tamawashi. Again, he has not been consistent, but he is one of my favorite guys to pick because he is always that dark horse. And, you know, if we want to use horses as our comparison, like, you know, he's a dark horse to win. He's not 8-1 odds. He's not 10-1. He's more like 16-1, maybe 20-1. But, you know, he had a couple of good runs lately. He's not the favorite. He'll never be the favorite. Not anymore. that time has passed. He's not going to be the favorite. But Tamawashi, these first 2 days, Ura and Yoshino Fuji, two very winnable matches. And building momentum is very important. Not anyone that has ever played a sport or been competitive in any way, building momentum, you know, is so important. You get those first 2 wins, you get those first 3 wins, you're driving, you're having a good time. You got those first 2 losses, those first 3 losses, you're feeling bad. You don't like that. Look at that, 2-13. Back in September 2023, he was not driving. 0-3 start, 7-8, not a good look. 5-0 start, 9-6 for Myogiryu 10. But even more recently, Myogiryu 4 West, 11-4 Jun Yusho, Shukunsho, Kinboshi. That's the other thing. It seems like he always has the capacity to defeat anybody in a different kind of way. Like, when Okinoumi was still around, he was a guy that could go toe-to-toe with Hakuho, but he could never finish it off. So it's like, yeah, he could fight anybody really well. He just can't beat them. Whereas Tamawashi, he can fight anybody really well, and he can beat them. And Tamawashi, I mean, sure, he's 40 years old. He's turning 41 in this tournament. He's turning 41 on day 8, day 9 of the tournament. So that's not helping his case. But you got to remember, he's a genetic freak, and he can go the distance with anybody. That's why I like picking him for Kachi Clash. That's why he might be a good pick here. But I don't know if he's the right pick for me, you know? Or maybe he is. Maybe I'm talking myself into a Tamawashi pick for this Kachi Clash. Again, I don't play optimally. I usually just pick my favorites and let it ride, which, I mean, that's won me a tournament before. It's won me a tournament before, but you can't just, you know, start betting on the power of friendship to win you $1 million, you know? So I think for, you know, if you want to win, your best bets are going to be Wakataka Kage and Kirishima. If you want one of those low-key dark horses, Tamawashi or Shodai. And then if you want a real out of left field take, Haku Oho or Yoshino Fuji. And I'll get into Haku Oho in a second. Haku Oho has been slowly and steadily rising up the Banzuke. You going to bed? Okie dokie. You want me to tuck you in? Mm-hmm. Okay. So Haku Oho, look at this. He has not had a losing record since May of 2024. And even then, he was injured for that tournament. And if you don't count tournaments in which he is injured, he has never had a fighting losing record. He has 3 straight 8-7s. Since coming back to the top division, he has 5 straight Kachi Koshi. Haku Oho. A couple of Kinboshi under his belt as well. I think he's a sneaky good pick here. 22 years old. Tied the record alongside recently retired Endo for the fastest rise to the top division. Endo took 2 tournaments in the 3rd division and then 1 in Judio, whereas Haku Oho took 1 tournament in the 3rd division and 2 in Judio, but they both made it to Maegashira 17. Or they both made it to the Maegashira ranks. Haku Oho, I feel like he could be a sneaky good pick here. I think I like that pick. He might not get 10 wins, but I feel like 8-7, maybe even 7-8 is going to be on the menu. He's likely to get a Kinboshi. It's likely something happens. Very favorable for him. I think I like the Haku Oho pick. But again, if you want to win, Wakataka or Kirishima is your best bet. I think I'm going to go Shodai for the memes. I will be back in just a minute. I'm going to go tuck the wife into bed. So enjoy this screen. But honestly, though, trying to choose someone in this section is really difficult because there are so many possibly good picks, you know? I'd like to say Shodai for the memes. I'd like to say Uda because he's fun. I'd like to say Wakataka or Kirishima because I believe they will be the best picks. Haku Oho and Yoshino Fuji, again, I think could be sneaky good picks here. So it's like, what do I want to do? I'm already picking Kotozakura and Takanosho. Do I want to go for someone that I think will get more wins for me? Or do I just want to really roll the dice and let it ride, you know? I'm going to roll the dice. You know what? We're already picking Kotozakura and Takanosho. Let's just keep rolling some dice. This seems like a very interesting Kachi Clash. Next up, Maegashira 6 through 10. Atami Fuji, Onokatsu, Chunana Umi, Abi, Ichiyamamoto, Keen Bolzon, Midori Fuji, you know I'm picking Tobizaru, Daieisho, and Koto Shoho. So, Koto Shoho's win was a flash in the pan. Unfortunate, but I don't think he's gonna ever get that again. 13-2 Yusho, I don't think that's ever gonna happen for him again. He was hot that tournament, and like I just said, having that wind at your back, having the momentum in your favor, he earned it. He definitely earned it, but I don't think it's going to happen again. Not this tournament. Daieisho, I expected him to be a lot better at the last tournament, 7-8, but maybe it's because he was coming back from surgery. He needed to get used to, new feelings in his body. Now, I think, would be a really good time to pick Daieisho, fighting Shishi and Koto Shoho. I mean, that 0-1 from Shishi is from the last tournament, so I think for Daieisho, you could call the last tournament a warm-up, because he definitely belongs, I think, still in those top ranks, in the Sanyaku, the forever Sekiwaka and Komusubi, who has a Yusho under his belt, who has Kinboshi under his belt. I think he will get back up there this tournament. He's probably the best guy to pick. Tobizaru, the silly monkey man. And whenever I hold Gideon now here in the office, he looks at the fan towel on the wall and he points at the Tobizaru fan towel. And I go, yeah, Tobizaru. And he goes, Saru, Zaru, Zaru. And I'm like, yeah, monkey. But Tobizaru, I mean, let's be real. There's no real reason to pick him over a couple of other guys in this section. But he's my favorite. He's the monkey man. He's the guy. He went 9-6 at the last tournament. He went 3-10 at the one before that. But hey, you know, one can dream. Honestly, if you're seriously playing this, don't pick Tobizaru. Then we have Midorifuji, who he's settled into these middle Maegashira ranks. He's settled in here, 7-8 the last tournament, 9-6, 6-9, 9-6, 7-8, 7-8, 7-8, 8-7. He hasn't had anything outstanding or too poor since last year. He looks like he belongs at Maegashira 9. The fact that he stayed at Maegashira 9 with that 7-8, you know, kind of proves that. But I don't expect him to get a huge winning record. I don't expect 10 wins. I don't expect 10 losses. So if you want to guarantee at least 6 points, I think Midorifuji is an okay pick. Like, if you're going Onosato, Aonishiki, Wakataka Kage, you can afford to pick Midorifuji if he's your favorite, or if you think he might have a breakout tournament here, which I don't think he's going to have a breakout tournament. He's a well-known factor at this point, and he's going to be fighting a lot of the same guys at the last tournament. So, Midorifuji, I wouldn't pick him here. Kinbozan and Ichi Yamamoto. Kinbozan, the Kinbozer Dozer, struggled at Maegashira 3, his career high rank. Struggled at Maegashira 8, even though he went 10-5 in May. 7-8 at the last one. I think he's going to be okay. Again, 7-8, 8-7, 6-9, 9-6 is the expectation here. I mean, that's, you know, like 80% of what sumo wrestlers get, let's be real. But you can see last year, 4-11, 4-11, and then earlier this year, that 12-3 playoff from Maegashira 14. I think that was just because he had bounced back from Judio with a lot of momentum, a lot of swagger, a chip on his shoulder. Because then after that, he got smacked around, bumped up to a new career high, but smacked around. Kinbozan, I don't think he's going to do as well as some of the other guys here. Then we have across from him Ichi Yamamoto. Ichi Yamamoto, I like him. He's a goofball, but I was hoping he could stick around in those higher ranks a little bit more. You could see 7-8 Kinboshi, 5-10, bounce back with a 9-6, but Maegashira 4, Maegashira 5 is too high for him. So he'll probably be more of a gatekeeper to the top of the top division. These middle ranks, Maegashira 8 is where he's going to look more comfortable. And this 9-6, it worked against him because going 9 wins in the first 10 days, it made him fight Takayasu and Onosato and Aonishiki. Like, after losing those 3, just a horrible slump. Tamawashi was surging that tournament. Fujinokawa was having a really good debut. The cards were stacked against Ichi Yamamoto after that hot start. Now, if he were 8-2 after 10 days, maybe he doesn't fight Onosato on day 12, you know, or if he was 7-3, then, you know, he doesn't fight Takayasu and Onosato. He probably just keeps on fighting people around him. So this is a situation where such a hot start really worked against him, because if he was under the radar like Takanosho was at the last tournament, then, you know, he would have just marched forward to like 10 plus wins easily. And I feel like that could happen here. Will it happen? I don't think it's very likely, Could it happen? Yes. What's the most likely scenario? Probably an 8-7. Probably an 8-7 for Ichi Yamamoto. Abi. Next up, Abi. Oh, I didn't want that. Abi. A very uncharacteristic 3-12 from the previous tournament. Really got to ask if he was fighting hurt, which, you know, the first 3 losses, it's like, okay, he had a tough schedule. The next 3 losses, it's like, okay, well, you still had a tough schedule, but come on, what's going on here? The next 3 losses, it's okay, is he fighting injured? Is he hurt? What's going on? Like, come on, man. What? Because look at his schedule. He's going through the gauntlet the first 5 days. Like, yeah, anybody will be 0-5 after fighting the top 5 guys on the Banzuke. It's going to be difficult to steal a win for anybody, even with some favorable head-to-heads, like against Wakataka Kage. But then after that, just constant struggle. It was probably just he had that negative momentum, maybe a small lingering injury, I don't know. But Abi, I don't think he's washed. I think he'll be able to bounce back quite nicely from this rank. And the last time he was this low, Myogiryu 7, you have to go way back to November 2022, 12-3 Yusho. So, like someone in the chat just said, if he's healthy, he's probably getting 10 wins here. Abi, if you're healthy, I could easily see 10 wins. If he's not healthy, well, who knows? But he never really comes down this far, the Banzuke. Like, again, you can look at the recent history, and since his comeback from suspension, the COVID suspension that I know only a couple of you guys remember, not everyone, because there's been a lot of people that started watching recently. But ever since that comeback, his lowest rank was Myogiryu 15, 12-3 Jun Yusho. Myogiryu 9 after sustaining an injury, 12-3 Yusho. And he's been sticking around, sure, 5-10 from Sekiwake. But like 3-12 from Myogiryu 1, that doesn't usually happen. That's the strange thing. And he's coming off of 2 straight tournaments with Kinboshi. Sure, 7-8, 9-6, but 3-12 is so uncharacteristic. Like, I feel like he had to have been hurt, and Abi is probably the best pick here. Sorry, I'm a little bit stuffy. Churano Umi across from him. Churano Umi, 32 years old. He's been solid, but I don't know if this is going to continue. 9-6, 9-6. Last time he was Myogiryu 7-4-11. He's solid, you know, he's okay. He's one of those guys, though, that is forgettable for me, at least. Like, I know I'm supposed to be impartial, and I'm supposed to try to, do my best to know everybody's styles, but Churano Umi has been forgettable, and I'm sorry, that's so insulting. But, I watch a lot of sumo, I watch a lot of guys, and there are memorable guys in the 4th division, like Yamato. Churano Umi has not been memorable, and I mean, an 11-4 from Myogiryu 14, that was really nice, but I don't know, I just don't see it. I'm sorry, Churano Umi and Churano Umi fans. And then we have Onokatsu. Onokatsu is doing really well for himself, 25 years old, from Mongolia, Nippon Sports Science University. He really hit that wall at Myogiryu 3, and what was probably supposed to be a bounce back tournament at the previous tournament, he was half and half. He was 4-3 after the first 7 days. That's not bad. 4-4 after the first 8 days. That's not bad. 4-5 after the first 9 days. That's not bad. 4-6 after the first 10 days. Okay, what's happening? 4-7 after the first 11 days. Bro, what's going on? So, Onokatsu, it looks like he just had a bad string right there. And these are, he has a favorable record against Keen Bozan, Daisho, that was their first time meeting, so, you know, Daisho probably just outmatched him. Sekiwake, Wakataka Kage, of course he's going to lose that one. But even before that, you know, he doesn't have a lot of experience against a lot of these guys at the top, so it could be he's starting to be figured out. Onokatsu, I like him, but it looks like he's going to be one of those guys that occupies lower Maegashira, is a gatekeeper to upper Maegashira, which, you know, if you occupy that spot for 10 years, like Takarafuji did, that's not a bad spot to be in, you know? You're going to be around, you're going to be remembered. But Onokatsu, you're still very young in your career here, so we'll see how that goes. It's hard to get a read on what might happen in this upcoming tournament, but I could expect a winning record here. I could expect a winning record. And then Atami Fuji. I realize I spent a lot more time on this section than I did the previous one, but I'll be sure to speed run the next one. Atami Fuji, 23 years old. I like him. I hope he continues to succeed. 5-10 from the last Basho. 11-4 Jun Yusho from Maegashira 10. I mean, he's solid. He's strong. He's just not consistent yet. He's not there yet. He has the body for sumo. He definitely has the body and the strength for sumo, but he just doesn't have the consistency. And I don't know if it's because he's like too slow, or if it's because his opponents just kind of know how to tackle that big body of his. But something for him is just not clicking. And I don't think he'll discover it this tournament, because I like to look at 2024 for him, where he was basically just outside the junior Sanyaku. He was Makuchi Joy for the entire year, going 7-8, 8-7. And it's like, that's a really good spot to be in. That is a lot of fantastic experience. What is he gonna do with it? 6-9, 5-10. It's like, oh, he has a bad hip? I didn't know that. Well, that's new information to me. So Atami Fuji fighting with a bad hip, that does change a lot of things. And, you know, that could be slowing him down. That does arrest some of your strength. It's a shame if he can't be at full strength. And if he's not at full strength from here, I don't know if I can expect a winning record. Probably another 6-9, 7-8. But I don't expect a winning record from him here. So, in short, I think your best bets are going to be Abi and Daisho. That much is obvious. And pretty much everybody else is an okay pick, except for Koto Shoho, I think. Sorry, Koto Shoho. But I'd be picking Onokatsu over Koto Shoho. And of course I'm picking Tobizaru, because he's my favorite. He's the monkey man. And that's going to be my guy. Now, this last section, not that I'm in any hurry, but oh my goodness, it's almost midnight. That's what daylight savings does to me. Not that I'm in any hurry, but I'm going to speed run this last section. Shishi, Roga, Fujinokawa, Tomokaze, Gonoyama, Mitakeumi, Ryuden, Toki Hayate, Nishiki Fuji, Shonan no Umi, Osho Umi, Sada no Umi, Chiyoshoma, Asakoryu, and Meisei. Meisei being saved by the skin of his teeth. The Basho starts tomorrow in about 18 hours. 18 hours. No, 19 hours. Somewhere around there. It starts at, 9 a.m. Japanese time, so I don't know. Google the time zones. But from here, Shishi is clearly back at full strength. I want to see him push up. Will he? I don't know. I don't think so. But Olga is near his plateau. I think, he had a 7-8 last tournament. But Olga, he's at his plateau. That's not a bad spot to be in. But if he gets a winning record, it's not going to be a big winning record. So I don't expect big things from Olga. Let me just double check Shishi here. Career high of Maegashira 11. Went 4-11, but he was fighting injured, I do believe, that tournament. So with the wind at his back here, 10-5, I could see another 9 wins for Shishi. I think he'll get there. Fujinokawa has slowly become one of my like top 3 favorites. I love watching him fight. He is agile, he's small, he's quick, and he's very Tobizaru-esque in his style, where you're not going to get the same Fujinokawa every single time. He's quickly becoming one of my favorites. Is he going to get a winning record here? I don't know. Probably not. I don't think so. But I want to pick him anyway, honestly. He's fighting Gonoyama day 1, which a lot of people are saying Gonoyama is probably going to be the best bet, but we'll get to him when we get to him. Tomokaze, former Maegashira 3, has a couple of Kinboshi under his belt, but that was 6 years ago. He has 1 foot now. He's completely different, but he is surging 9-6 at the last tournament. Is he going to be able to get another winning record here? I don't think so. His new plateau, it was, Maegashira 16, 14, 16. Maegashira 12, I don't think that's going to be too easy for him. He's not as fast as he used to be. He's not as strong as he used to be. I think Tomokaze is going to struggle here. Excuse me, I don't have the sniffles or anything, but my nose is clogged. Gonoyama. A lot of people are saying Gonoyama's the best bet. That 1-14 is kind of a flash in the pan. Like, that's never going to happen again for Gonoyama. I don't think that will ever happen again for Gonoyama. And now someone clip that, and in 5 years when he goes 1-14 again, you can show me this clip where I'm saying he's never going to go 1-14 again. But, I mean, his rise from Judio was great. His plateau seems to be the Makuchi Joy below the Sanyaku ranks. Maegashira 6, he went 9-6, so he's too good for there. Maegashira 3, 1-14. He had to have been fighting injured. I mean, come on. 1-14, he did not look like he was at full strength. He was not as strong. He was not as fast. Now he is way below his pay grade, and the last time he was this low on the Banzuke was his debut when he went 10-5. And the next lowest time, Maegashira 8, 11-4. He is clearly the best pick because he can go hard against some of those guys in the middle ranks, the upper ranks, and he's going to be fighting older beat up Ryuden, young and inexperienced Fujinokawa, debutant in a couple of these lower guys. I believe Nishiki Fuji, which, I mean, I could just look. Oh, Osho Umi, my mistake. So, I feel like he should have an easy time down here. Mitake Yumi, across from him, former Ozeki, he did a lot better than I expected him to at the previous tournament. Like we mentioned a couple of times near the start, he did just lose his mother right before the start of that tournament. Lost his father a couple of years ago and had his worst tournament of his career when that happened. That 3-12. No, that was it that 3-12 or was it the 2-13? I don't remember, but it was more recent. No, I don't think it was the 2-13 because he started off that tournament okay. But I mean, he looked emotionally stronger in the last tournament, going 7-8. Was better than I would have expected for him. I don't think losing your mother, that's not going to go away after a couple of months. So I think if he just turns inward, focuses on himself and his own family, and keeps fighting the way he knows he can fight, he can have a good tournament here. It's just hard to say if he will have that good tournament. Just because Gono fell doesn't mean he's going to get a lot of wins. The bottom of the list is still pretty tough, and Gono is an easy guy to plan against. That is true. He is pretty one-dimensional in his style, but to compare him to a Yokozuna might be an insult to the Yokozuna. But when you are so overwhelmingly strong in your one style, you can get those wins. Ryuden, Maegashira 14, 34 years old, 9-6 from the previous tournament. Last time he was this high, 5-10, 6-9. I think he's lost it. I think he's gonna be losing this tournament. Toki Hayate, 7-8, 6-9. his plateau seems to be that Maegashira 11 spot. I don't think he's going to be going that much higher, but I think a winning record could come here. He went 7-8 last tournament. Could easily have been an 8-7, maybe even a 9-6. But I think a winning record can come for Toki Hayate. 7-8 is probably the floor for him. Nishiki Fuji, 29 years old, 11-4 from Judo 3. The last time he was up this high, out for injury. So you don't really know if his ceiling is still going to be that Maegashira 3, or if he's going to settle in around here. But if he's fully healthy and strong, because we did see 10 wins in that July tournament earlier this year where he dropped out for a couple of days due to injury again. If he's uninjured, unfettered, I think he can get 10 wins here too. Toki Hayate. Nishiki Fuji, coming up back up out of Judo. Fell due to injury a similar way, made it up to Maegashira 3. You know he's never going to make it back up there. Kind of occupied these bottom spots. Wait. I was looking at Nishiki Fuji when I mentioned Toki Hayate. So everything I just said about Toki Hayate, that's actually Nishiki Fuji. You can bet on Nishiki Fuji, I think. Toki Hayate, he's been doing okay in these lower ranks. He has the speed at the Tachi Eye that Kongo loves to mention, but his follow through doesn't really help him there. 7-8, 6-9, 8-7. This seems to be where he belongs in these lower ranks. So I feel like 10-5, 5-10, those are equally on the table here. I think it's more likely he gets like 9 wins, maybe 8. But is hard to gauge because, you know, against a certain opponent, you get to the perfect spot, you get the grip, you get the win, but against other opponents, they'll just overpower you anyway. So, Shonan no Umi, I'm very disappointed in Shonan no Umi overall. When he first came up, I thought he was going to be the next big thing because he's such a big guy, but he has been largely unimpressive. It's kind of like Shodai in that he's so big, but he seems to not know how to use his big body sometimes. So I don't really have confidence in Shonan no Umi getting a winning record, and even looking at recent results, 4-11, 5-10, 7-8 from those lower Maegashira ranks, and even those winning records were only 8 and 7s. I don't believe in Shonan no Umi anymore. Sorry, my guy. Osho Umi, the debutant, 24 years old. He's older than some of the guys that are already in this top division, but he is making his debut, and I'm very much looking forward to it. He did start off strong, dropped those last 3 from Judio 1, but it's hard to gauge. Will he have a good shot here? I think part of it is because a lot of men in the top division don't know how to fight him. He will have an easier time, but at the same time, he might not be able to keep up with the speed, with the power, so he might struggle here. So I would bet on him having a better time than a worse time. I think Nishiki Fuji gets a winning record in his debut. Sato no Umi across from him, longtime veteran, 38 years old. Every time he struggles down here, he bounces back to Judio, comes back up, has a decent time. But it looks like he's on that downward trend right now. 6-9, 4-11, 10-5 from Maegashira 13, but then a 6-9 from Maegashira 14. This might be the bounce back, though. This might be his bounce back tournament. If it's not here, he's going to fall to Judio. So I think, like, ceiling is probably 9-6, floor probably 5-10. Chiyoshoma. We love Chiyoshoma. Love us some Henka Master. Unfortunate on that 1-14 from Maegashira 9. Like, oh my god. But bouncing back with that 9-6 from Judio 2. And as the gatekeeper to the top division, this is exactly where he belongs. I think he gets the winning record here. I don't think he's going to get 10 wins. I think he'll get 9, probably 8. I think his floor is 7. I don't think he's going to go back down to Judio. Asakoryu, the small, strong, scrappy trap god. He's got those huge traps. I gotta ask him about his workout regimen. He's been struggling 6'9", 6'9". Last time he was down here 10-5, which I hope he can bounce back and get another 10-5. But he is a bit more of a known factor, even through the churn of, Judio to top division and top division to Judio. He was in Judio for quite a while too, so he is a bit more of a known factor now to guys coming up from Judio and guys going, down from the top of Makuuchi. I feel like he's going to struggle this tournament too. And then finally, Meisei, who he's on a horrible downward trend, 3-12, 5-10. I don't see him bouncing back here. And this might sound mean, but I don't care if he bounces back or not. If he falls to Judio, to me, that's like, whatever. If he does fight back, that's as it should be. Hold on, I'm getting a text. Ooh, excuse me. Alright, but let me finish this pick real quick. Me, personally, I'm going to go for Fujinokawa. Because I like him a lot. If you want to win, though, probably Shishi. Probably Gonoyama. Probably Nishiki Fuji. Anyone else? It's a meme. It's a joke. Shishi is the tallest of this batch? I think so. But I will be back in just a second. I have to go help the wife with the heating pad. Alrighty, and so finally, my picks. Oh, yeah, oh right, that's right. Meisei isn't even at the tournament. What am I doing? Meisei is out for injury. I completely forgot to mention that. Meisei is Kyujo. Bad back. I completely forgot about that. It was even mentioned before I started stream. I'm like, oh, I could bring that up, and then I completely forgot. But these are going to be my picks for the Kachi Clash. I'm picking pretty much only my favorites. Kotozakura, Takanosho, Haku Oho, Tobizaru, and Fujinokawa. So this is going to be a ride or die team right here. If you want to win, I would say Onosato, Aonishiki, Wakataka Kage, Abi, and Nishiki Fuji. Daisho's going to be your gamble pick. Very fair. Top division guys who debut outside of Tokyo have a 70% Kachi Koshi record, so I'm picking him to get 8 wins. Very fair. That's one thing I love about sumo, is because there's so many matches, there's so many tournaments, there's so many stats. It's like you could do that stupid baseball stat thing where it's like, well, this guy has an ERA of 2.31, but on Tuesday nights when it's cloudy, he has an ERA of 1.3. But yeah, the before we go, on the YouTube side at least, the schedule for tomorrow is as follows. We will be opening up the day ending day 1, Onosato Takeyasu, Haku Oho Hoshoryu, Kotozakura Wakataka Kage, Aonishiki Kirishima, Wakamoto Haru Oho, Takanosho Hirado Umi, Tamawashi Ura, Yoshino Fuji, who is former Kusano. I'm going to have to probably say that a million times. Shoma. Atami Fuji Shodai. Churana Umi Onokatsu. Ichi Yamamoto Abi. Midori Fuji Kin Bozan. Koto Shoho versus Tobizaru. Daieisho versus Shishi. Fujinokawa Roga. Gonoyama Tomokaze. Ryuden Mitakeyumi. Nishiki Fuji Toki Hayate. Osho Umi Shonan no Umi. Chiyoshoma Sada no Umi, a nice rivalry match there, 8-all. And Hitoshi Asakoryu. Hitoshi trying to make his top division debut. Oh no, come back to the top division. My mistake. Should be a good set of matches. And then, of course, on day 2, Takanosho Hoshoryu. Onosato Hakuoho. Kotozakura Kirishima. Waka Takakage Oho. Aonishiki Wakamoto Haru. Hirado Umi Takeyasu. Oshoma Ura. Tamawashi Yoshino Fuji. Onokatsu Shodai. Atami Fuji Churana Umi 8-1 for Atami Fuji. Kin Bozan Abi. Midori Fuji Ichiyamamoto. Shishi Tobizaru. That should be a fun match. Daieisho Koto Shoho. Tomokaze Roga. Fujinokawa Gonoyama. Toki Hayate Mitakeyumi. Ryuden Nishiki Fuji. Sada no Umi Shonan no Umi. Osho Umi Asakoryu. And finally Chiyoshoma versus Fuji Seiyun. Fuji Seiyun, I believe, is trying to get his top division debut. I am right about that one. I remembered that one correctly. So for those of you on the YouTube side, that is going to be it for us for the evening. Over on the Twitch side, we are going to continue watching the Dohyo consecration ceremony, and maybe after that some training videos, which I can't show on YouTube because then the Sumo Association itself would give me a copyright strike, and that wouldn't be a good thing because we already have 1 strike, and 3 strikes means my entire channel gets deleted and then I go and do something unfortunate. So that'll be it from us for the day. If you want to keep on watching, be sure to join us on the Twitch side, and remember to go and buy my merchandise. Use discount code Kyushu Basho for 15% off of your order. We will be back tomorrow with the lowest of the low divisions at, I believe, well, it's like 9 a.m. Japanese time is the usual time. Somewhere around like 6 p.m. Central Time here in America. And then for anywhere else in the world, you're going to have to do the math yourself. I don't know how things work. So thank you very much for watching on YouTube. That'll be it from us for the evening. And we will catch you cats later. Ooh, excuse me.